guys? Welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, going to go over an article titled Girlfriend Draws Up 17-Page Contract for Tinder Flame After Dating 2 Weeks. And guys, this article has been really circulating around the internet the last few days, and I've had at least 7 or 8 of you guys emailing me asking me to cover this article, so here you go. And this pretty much, guys, if you haven't seen this already or had a glimpse of this, what we have here is a girl. She's in college, and she started dating this guy for like a couple weeks at best. And she wrote up a 17-page contract on how he should behave in their relationship and treat her and all those other things. Like pretty much one of the areas of the contract is he has to pay for all the dates and won't give her the silent treatment if they're having a dispute or argument or something like that, okay? Tons of crazy shit, basically, all right? And I'm doing this, guys, just to show you as another example just how this guy's going along with this, all right? And just to show you how just clueless so many guys are. You want to talk about a perfect example of the word simp? There you go, okay? And, of course, the nut jobs that are out there, these gals that we deal with every day. So for you guys that do relationships and dating, listen to this article. You're going to see what I'm talking about. And don't be this guy, for God's sakes. And I'm going to get a little more into where I see this thing going with the future of these two, because it ain't going to go well. Okay, any guy that goes along with this, believe me, isn't exactly what they consider to be a guy that's a catch or high value. No woman's going to want a guy that's this pee-whipped, okay? They may want it initially for some control, but eventually it's going to get bored real quick. You'll see what I'm talking about. And by the way, I came across some parts of this contract online, which I will read to you at the end of this article. So it starts off, she's basically a modern-day Rachel Green, and they are definitely not on a break. This is in reference to the show Friends. Rachel Green's the character that Jennifer Aniston played, in case some of you guys don't know this. And there was an episode in Friends when she and her boyfriend, Ross, got back together, and she gave him like an 18-page letter that he had to agree to before they got back together. But that was TV, and now we're having TV become reality. Just had to mention that real quick. Annie Wright, 21 years old, drafted a 17-page relationship contract after dating her now boyfriend for only 2 weeks. While it's no 18-page letter to Ross Geller, Wright's contract to her boyfriend, Michael Head, 23, was just an extensive. The contract came with 4 main objectives: honesty, communication, awareness of partners' needs, and clarity and alignment in their intentions. You gotta be kidding me. This girl's psycho. You want to talk about control freak? Can you imagine a relationship with her? Not that anybody watching this channel will get involved with someone like this. I don't care how hot she is. Oh, and by the way, guys, if you click on the link in the description, you'll see many pictures of her. And in my opinion, she is not that great by any means. And if you look at those eyes of hers, those eyes reveal something crazy. And there's a picture of her boyfriend, and he definitely looks like, well, he looks like someone that's very easily pee-whipped. I want you guys to take a moment, pause the video, and look at the pictures. And let me know what you think in the comment section. Anyway, she says here, listen to this. I made the idea as a joke. Then she said, no, seriously, we can do that and talk about it. Wright, an Atlanta, Georgia native, told Kennedy News. So she's admitting she made this up as a joke, probably not thinking any guy with any real self-respect would go along with this harebrained idea. But lo and behold, she found herself a typical beta guy, and a typical guy of this day and age that has had no real role models to actually teach him a few things, has only had sitcoms and movies, and surprise, surprise, the guy goes along with this. The couple met last October on Tinder after Wright left a toxic relationship, and she was determined to make this relationship with Head, a law student, work out. So she left a toxic relationship, so she then went on Tinder to find a new guy to not have a toxic relationship. Guys, Tinder is a cesspool, okay? And that's where she went? That makes a whole lot of sense. At the time, I had braces in college and I was very embarrassed, said Wright. It was also a pandemic time, but I got to the point where I was like, screw it, I'm going to go on dates with guys and don't care anymore. I matched with almost anybody on Tinder and would tell my matches, I'm going on a walk with my dog at 2 p.m. today, are you free? It was a fluke that I met him. I was going on 3 Tinder dates a week and go out there and meet people. A date to meet, a date with her dog? That's not a date. How are they supposed to connect on a date? They're going for a walk with her dog, and the guy, he feels like he's clicking with her, maybe moves in for a kiss, and the dog jumps up all over him. The dog's going to essentially dog block him. That makes no sense. That's just an easy screening process. Guys, for you dating guys, girl wants to go on a date to meet you the first time, and she wants you to join her and go for a jog or a hike with her dog or something like that. Immediately pass up and just walk away. Don't even bother. Thankfully, when Wright met, I don't know if it's Head or Heed, whatever the hell it is here. That's the guy's name, Head. They instantly clicked. He was like, I want us to be boyfriend and girlfriend, Wright said. In order to be ready for that, we had to lay some serious ground rules. This is her saying this. What kind of guy, after a first date, says, I want to be boyfriend and girlfriend? A guy that probably doesn't have a whole lot of options with women. That's trying to lock her down immediately. A guy that pretty much will take whatever he can get. And that communicates to the girl, oh, I can control this guy because he's this desperate that he's bringing up a relationship on the first date. Within the 17-page document, Wright outlined all of her expectations for the relationship, which asked Head for no silent treatment, to pay for date nights, and not to isolate her from her loved ones. She says, we printed out our terms and conditions. I went over to his place. We sat on either side of the bed and read them out loud, she recalls. I felt like the biggest issue I had in my last relationship was I felt like boundaries of mine were crossed that I never established. I was like, this time I'll write them out and no one can cross my boundaries. Michael, also pre-law, said he was pretty keen on the idea of making a contract. Control freak, control freak, control freak. Okay, she had a bad relationship last time. Does that mean that she's going to get into a bad relationship with another guy? No, unless she intentionally chooses the type of guy that's going to give her a bad relationship and be, in her words, toxic. Well, where did she go after her breakup? You heard it. Tinder. That shows you the level of judgment and common sense that this girl has. But she found some beta guy that was more than happy to go along with just for a piece of ass, essentially. Says here, additionally, she asked for a romantic gesture once every 2 weeks and to work out at least 5 times a week. So this guy has to hit the gym 5 days a week to meet her obligations. More like she should be hitting the gym 5 days a week. And at least 5 days a week. There are some weeks I don't go to the gym 5 days a week, and I love training, and I'm a trainer. You know, I'm there 4 days a week, sometimes 5. I got the time, but I'm pretty freaking busy now with 2 YouTube channels, personal training business, among the many other things I got. But she insists 5 days a week. Is she going 5 days a week? And a romantic gesture every 2 weeks? I think literally she's like, okay, what can I get this moron to agree to next? And don't think for a second. So women don't do that on purpose. Test guys to see what their boundaries are and what they can get away with. But this is right here on paper. This is an article. This is proving my point. Things I've talked about many times in other videos. Let's see here. We treat our relationship almost like a business interaction, Wright told the Sun News. We deal with conflict like partners in business would. We sit down and treat it more like we're partners in life, and love is an added bonus. This almost sounds like an arranged marriage, except it's like an arranged dating situation where it's all business, and if romance comes, it comes. Real romantic here. I mean, let's be honest. If we're really being honest here, all relationships in one way are kind of a business deal. A marriage really is a business deal. The idea is that pretty much the guy is going to be, even though women obviously work nowadays and have very good jobs and careers, at the end of the day, the man is still expected to be the sole provider. If something goes wrong or whatever it is, it falls on the guy. So the business deal is the man provides, or is always there as an insurance policy to provide, amongst many other things, and pretty much her job is to F her husband. That's pretty much it. And guys pretty much always lose out in this deal because the second that ring goes on, they can be freaky as hell 5 times a day up until that point. But the second that ring goes in the finger, bye-bye. Bait and switch wife. Like that. Guy always loses out. But at the end of the day, everything's a business deal. Says, clearly something is working for the two of them as they are approaching their anniversary. Wright joked that her boyfriend will want to add a clause or two of his own, including taking off shoes in his apartment, which he always forgets to do. That's his clause. With all her demands, I think I'd be having a lot different type of clauses in this agreement. If I was supposed to adhere to her list of psychotic demands, believe me, I'd have a few clauses in there that I can't mention in this channel because they'd be inappropriate. But let me tell you, it would have nothing to do with her taking her shoes off in my apartment. This has been a game changer, says Wright, who is surprised more couples don't drop contracts. Well, because they're not psycho control freaks like you. I'd recommend all couples have one. It's the best thing ever. People just fall into relationships, said Wright. This makes me know what I'm signing up for. Who's going to enforce this contract? If he doesn't do something in the contract, is he going to get a penalty, a fine? Is he going to get put in timeout? How's this going to be enforced? And you talk about falling into a relationship. Most people do fall into relationships. That's kind of how it goes. Now, I advise you guys all the time, for you relationship guys, who take your time to screen the girl, find out what she's like, make her work to get you. She'll appreciate you more. Believe me, no guy should ever settle down in an exclusive relationship when he first meets a girl for at least 6 months, in my opinion. At least, okay? Why rush? There's no rush. Make her work to get you. She'll treat you better, appreciate you more. Really, amongst many other things. She says, I live in constant fear of waking up 2 years into a relationship and realizing my partner doesn't have the same life plan as me. You put 1 or 2 years into a relationship, but you don't agree on the core things. If you don't have that core connection, you're wasting your time and prolonging a heartbreak. At this point, we update every 6 months or so. We'll visit it. Yeah, good luck, honey. The contract, Wright claims, is what contributes to the relationship's success. We're partners in this, Wright said. We're agreeing to tackle life together, and this is our game plan for doing it. So that is the end of the article. Now, I'm going to in a moment read you parts of her contract that she wrote up, because I'm sure you guys like to hear this. But real quick, let me just say something here. Here's how I see this going. She initially got into this relationship with all her contract and her psychotic control freak terms and conditions, because obviously she was in a bad relationship before where she felt out of control, and she labeled it as toxic. Okay, so this is why she's doing this. This is what I'm reading between the lines, why she's doing this. But here's what I see how this is going to happen. This is how I see how this is going to go forward. She'll have this whole song and dance, wonderful relationship for a little bit longer, and then she's going to start to get bored. She's going to get bored because all of a sudden everything is too predictable, too easy. The guy's too predictable. She always knows what's going to happen next. She always knows how she's going to behave because he's obviously a pushover and he's weak because he's going along with this. And she'll start to get bored. And pretty soon she'll somewhere work, the gym, who knows where, school, will start encountering guys that aren't so easy to push around, aren't such pushovers. Guys actually give her a challenge. And she'll start feeling attraction for these types of guys. And one thing's going to lead to another, and two things are going to happen. Either A, she'll break up with the guy for a guy that actually isn't a robot, and she can't boss around and control, because no woman is going to be attracted to a guy who's totally pee-whipped and they can boss around and control. And when I say attracted to, not like with, because there's plenty of women with guys that are totally pee-whipped and they settle. You know, it's better than being alone and have a guy to help pay the bills and take care of the kids. You know, I'm talking about marriages, because there's plenty of pee-whipped guys that are married. I'm sure many of you guys either were those guys at one time, if you're honest with yourselves, or know guys like that. But I'm talking about attraction, where she's actually drawn to a guy and wants to F him. They don't feel that way towards pee-whipped guys. So eventually she's going to lose attraction for this guy, and she'll either cheat on him for a while or break up with him, pretty much because of how he's adhering to this contract and basically being boring. That's how I see things are going to go down eventually. But anyhow, I'm going to read through part of this contract here, the terms and conditions she had. I think you guys will find this pretty funny. And it's written out here. It says it's literally written out like a legal contract. It says relationship terms and conditions by Michael Head and Annie Wright. And in quotes, it says, two reasonable people, equally informed, seldom disagree. Yeah, that's going to go real well as a relationship. It says Wright drafted the 17-page contract and presented to Head 2 weeks after dating, Kennedy News Media reports. Now, the table of contents has 4 categories: boundaries, about me, family, and future stuff. Under objectives, it says, and I quote, this document aims to assure both parties that make up this relationship that they will enjoy lots of benefits, which include but are not limited to the following: honesty, awareness of your partner's needs, clear communication, and alignment in our intentions. Now, under honesty, it says here, honesty, or objective 1, the act of being fair and transparent in a relationship. This virtue helps in avoiding and controlling fights, frustrations, and unnecessary internalized resentments. Define what this object aims to accomplish. You can't make this shit up, guys. This is right on there. You can see it if you want to. Number 2, communication, or objective 2. A successful and strong relationship is not built in silence. It is expected that both partners talk to each other and express feelings and listen to one another. Communication assists couples in decision making. Define what this objective aims to accomplish. Number 3, awareness of partners' needs, or objective 3. This contract should make it easier for us to have clear understanding of each other's emotional, spiritual, and physical needs. And number 4, clarity and alignment in your intentions. This contract is a vital way towards getting clarity and alignment to our long. So anyhow, that's that part there. Next, under boundaries. Like I said, you can't make this up, guys. Under boundaries, understanding each other's boundaries will transform our ability to communicate and help nip issues in the bud before they overwhelm us. Number 1, saying no. Under saying no, A, I know you may find it easier to sacrifice your own needs for me. B, if I ever ask something of you that goes against your principles, disrespects your time, or forces you to sacrifice something important, it is okay to say no. It does not have to be harsh, but please be assertive. Under section B, there is assertive. Assertive is an important note here, as I'm self-aware enough to know that I will attempt to beg and push boundaries if you seem unsure of your decision. Right there, she admits it. I'll be known to beg and push boundaries. You mean test to see what you can get away with this guy? This girl's psycho, and I can't believe that. Well, actually, I can believe this guy's going along with this, given young men nowadays. C, if you choose to do something for me that negatively impacts your schooling, sleep schedule, relationships, it is not my responsibility. You have the option to say no, and I will not be made to feel guilty for choices you make. Number 2, under the boundary section, prying. When I'm ready to talk, I will. As you know, I go silent when I'm upset. I understand this can be concerning and stressful for you. However, prying and putting me on the spot can result in emotional outbursts and saying words I do not mean. This goes to show you how completely effed up this generation is. Oh my God. I'm not saying everybody's like this, but just the young kids these days, unbelievable. And you've heard of all these things about having to have literally contracts being signed before two parties engage in you-know-what. That's a whole other subject for another day. It continues on under the boundary section. Number 4, ignoring each other. This does not apply to workaholic mode. However, I would like a courtesy text before you disappear, but this is not expected. B, during a fight, if I cannot reach you, and she says in parentheses, 0 communication for longer than 2 days, 48 hours, I will assume we are done. So they get into a fight, the guy backs away, and he needs some space, but if he doesn't reach out to her within 48 hours, even if it's her fault, well, it's over. C, being ignored is probably one of my biggest pet peeves, and I will not send 100 texts begging to talk about things. I will simply take the hint and move on. Number 5, my friends and family. It is not up to you to determine who my life is toxic for me. You can share your opinions, but you cannot tell me who I should or should not be hanging out with. This is all for him. Next one. B, no isolation from friends and family regardless of the situation. Now, number 6, under paying for dates. There's section A and B, paying for dates. I know you are traditional and want to pay for everything, but this is not feasible or realistic. B, I will pay or Venmo you for meals that are not dates. These are times when we happen to be together and happen to pass mealtime, like the drive-thru or grabbing something to eat, but it's not dates. Anyway, guys, that is just a portion of the 17-page contract that this bonehead actually agreed to, okay? But absolutely hilarious. And I'm glad all 7 or 8 of you guys sent me this article, and it was a good one to cover here. But, guys, no man of any value would ever in his mind go along with this. ever. So for you dating guys, particularly you younger guys, because this is the crap that comes these FNS type of women or empowered women these days might try to pull, never go along with this. I would literally laugh in her face, throw the contract in the air, and say, "See ya, sweetheart." Unbelievable. But guys, like I said before, the way I see this going is this girl's going to do this and just keep seeing what she can get away with. But eventually, she's going to get bored of this guy, dump him, and he's going to be so clueless, he's going to wonder, what I do wrong? I did everything she wanted me to do. That's what she told me that what she wanted. Why did she dump me? Why did she cheat on me? Well, duh, dummy, because they actually want a guy that actually is a challenge, that's going to not be a pushover and go for a nonsense like this. But she got her attention and validation by having an article written about her and everybody sees about. And yes, I'm doing this article, so she's getting it from here. But I do this to show you guys what's out there. I show you the crazy in the world and also. But anyhow, guys, I thought that'd be a good one to cover. So, okay, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Of all the videos I do, please let me know what you think about this. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.